Hey, it's John Ricard. So today we're going to be talking about studio lighting. And one of the biggest debates I see on the internet is the debate about whether you should use something like a small Nikon flash in the studio or if you should go out and buy studio lights. And people debate a lot of different points about this. They talk about the price differences. They talk about the power consistency between the two different types of lights. They talk about the amount of power that the two lights put out. But there's one part of the debate that I think is extremely important that I have never seen discussed anywhere. I don't see it discussed on Strobes. I don't see it discussed on forums. I don't see it discussed in articles about these two different types of light choices. The part that people aren't talking about is what I call the usability factor, and I think it's a huge part of the debate. So I've got two different types of lights here. One is, we're going to call it a flash, just so we understand the difference. This is going to be a flash. This is a Nikon SB800. And the second type of light that we have is going to be a monolight. So what we're looking at today is the usability factor. So one of the things you need to do whenever you're using studio lights is you need to set the power. So let's see, how do we set the power on the Nikon SB800? So the first thing I'm going to do is turn it on. So to turn it on, I notice I have 1, 2, 3 buttons, really 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons. But it's kind of more than 4 buttons because this one button actually has 5 positions. I can push top, bottom, left, right, and middle. So you add that together, that's quite a few buttons. And my power button is here on the top right. To turn it on, I have to feel it and I have to hold it down for a second or two, and the power comes on. When I look at the flash, the first thing I notice is that there's a lot of information here, okay? There's something at the top says RPT, which stands for repeat. There's an ISO setting below it. On the right top is something about megahertz. The bottom left is a zoom setting, and then there's a focal length information here that says I'm at 35 millimeters, and there's an aperture setting here which says f11. So there's quite a bit of information. There's probably about 6 or 7 pieces of information here in addition to the 5 buttons. Now if I want to set the power, it depends on what mode I'm in on the SB800. Let's say I want to go to half power. I can't go to half power right now because I'm in this repeat mode. Sorry, we went into standby. So I want you to note that. I'm in standby. I have to get out of standby. So I push the power button. I'm out of standby. All I want to do now is set the power on the flash, but since I'm in repeat mode, I can't do it. I'm going to push the mode button. Now I'm in TTL. I still can't adjust the power on the flash. Push it again, I'm in A for aperture priority. Still, I'm sorry, for automatic setting. That's automatic metering for the flash. Still can't set my power the way I want to. Push it one more time, I'm in manual. Now I can adjust the power using this top-down switch. So I'm at 16th power. If I keep pushing it up, increasing the power, I'm now at 1/4 power. And here is half power. So that's what I have to do to set the power on the flash. Now if I want to set power on the monolight, it's a very different situation. Now when I look at the monolight, the first thing we're going to notice is I already have fewer controls. I've got 1 switch, 2 switches, and a dial, and that's it. Well, I'm sorry, there's one more. There's a test button here. So it's 4 buttons, but there's no more information. I don't have an LCD screen giving me information about megahertz and repeat modes and focal lengths. So just looking at this, it's a simpler design than the flash. So to turn on the monolight, I've got a large on and off switch. Even if I were to close my eyes, I could just close my eyes and feel the light, I could eventually feel the on and off switch and push it and turn on the light. It's very simple to turn on the power. Now if I want to adjust the power on the flash from low power to middle power to high power, I've got a large dial here which currently is at the low power setting, and all I've got to do is walk over and turn the dial and I'm on half power. So if I need to, I can even get someone else to adjust the power for me. Sometimes you've got your lights positioned and it's a lot of trouble to keep walking over and adjusting the power. So I might say to my hairstylist, hey, can you do me a favor, just stand by this light, and I'm going to have the light on a particular setting. If I tell you to go up, I want you to just turn it 1 little dot up. And if I tell you to go down, I want you to just turn it 1 little dot down. My hairstylist can adjust the power on this light because there are so few controls and it's so easy to adjust the power. And a lot of times when you're working and you're thinking about all these things, you're trying to keep the client happy and you're trying to work with the model and your mind is thinking about a million things, you don't want to come over to a light and see repeat mode and focal length and 50 other pieces of information that are irrelevant to you. You want to come over and just adjust the power up or adjust the power down. And again, when you're looking at the usability factor, you find that if you're using a Monolight, it's much easier to adjust the power than it is on that flash. The next thing we want to do is take this light and put it on a light stand. So you notice this flash was designed to be used on a camera. That's what the manufacturer made this product to do, to take it, put it on my Nikon. I'm a Nikon body. And to put it on a camera takes 2 seconds, and you can do it with your eyes closed. It's very simple. To put it on this light stand is just a little bit more complicated because I'm using it in a way that it was not designed to be used. So I have to go out and buy this little swivel adapter. And I've used a lot of these, and I've never found one that I really, really like. This isn't even the one that I'm currently using. This one belongs to a friend of mine. But in any event, I'm going to take this little umbrella swivel adapter, and I'm going to put it on the light stand. Now I want to put the flash onto the umbrella swivel. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this tiny little screw on the side and loosen it up so that the flash can slide in. I'm going to take the flash, and on the Nikons it has a locking system here. So I'm going to unlock that so the little pin at the bottom does not drop. And I'm going to slide the flash in. I'm going to slide the flash in to the umbrella swivel. I'm going to screw this tiny little screw to keep it in place. And now my flash is on the light stand. And if I want to change the angle of the flash, if I want to change the angle to here, I have a little dial on the side that I can loosen and I can adjust it. And you see it's kind of jerky. It's not really a smooth motion. You don't feel like you're working with some type of like finely crafted, expensive piece of gear, even though the top of the line Nikon flash is like $450, and I think these were probably about $375, maybe a little more. But you know, the whole system doesn't feel like a finely crafted machine. It's all just a little bit awkward and sort of time consuming to get the flash onto the light stand. Let's look at what happens when we do it with the Monolight now. So I take the Pro Photo. You notice this light was made to be put on a light stand. That's what the manufacturer expects me to do with it, and they made it very easy. They've built in a connection onto the light that goes onto the light stand. And this is the case with any type of studio light you buy. They're all going to have a connection to put it on a light stand. And I've got a rather large dial here that I can loosen. I take it, I can just sort of slam it down, okay? I don't have to finesse this. I just slam it down, turn the dial, and it's on the light stand. If I want to change the angle of the light, I've got a large handle to do it. I'm not fiddling with a little tiny dial. I've got a large handle, and the handle, I can position it anywhere I want. So it's positioned too low now, I can move the handle to here. Maybe it's more convenient to work it here, but I can put the handle wherever I need to, and I can loosen it like this and change the angle of the light very quickly, very easily, okay? Because I'm using this light in the manner that it was designed to be used. So the bottom line is, you really have to look at the usability factor when you're trying to decide between studio lights and camera flashes. The advantage to the camera flash is that it's easy to transport. Okay, so if I'm taking the subway to a shoot, which I do pretty often, I'll bring my small Nikon flashes, I stuff them into a bag, I go to do my shoot, and everything's fine. But if you live in a state where you're driving to all of your shoots and you're able to park right where you're going to be shooting, you may not really have advantages in using the small flashes. You might be better off just getting the large lights, put them in your trunk, and drive up to your shoot and take them out. Because when you're actually working, you're going to find it's a lot easier to use the studio lights the way they were designed to be used, rather than using these little on-camera flashes in a manner that they were not designed to be used. So don't get too caught up in the specs. You know, don't just sit and look at the guide numbers and the power settings and all of that. Think about how easy is it to use this product. That's a crucial part of the equation that I find gets ignored in all the debates that I see, okay? So this is John Ricard. I hope you'll check me out on Twitter. It's John Ricard NYC. So that's JOHN RICARD NYC. John Ricard NYC at Twitter. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.